But let's jump on to health now. And some of you might remember I've been going on a long time about antivirals and monoclonal antibodies. And you might remember, there we go, back in November 2021, the first oral antiviral for COVID-19, Molnupiravir, was approved by the MHRA. For the sake of time, please freeze the screen, but clearly you can see the comments there from Dame June Rain. She says, there are no compromises on quality, safety and effectiveness. The public can trust that the MHRA has conducted a robust and thorough assessment of this data, as well as Professor Munir Mohammed from the Commission of Human Medicines, who we've talked about a lot. And I can tell you that I've written plenty of FOIs about Molnupiravir, so this is just the tip of the iceberg. But if we look back at my blog, I wrote back in 2022 my concerns about Molnupiravir, because Molnupiravir was actually, it was an innovation from a pharmaceutical company called Ridgeback, and it was binned right from the get-go. It was way too dangerous. And then it was revived by Merck. And my worries, my huge worries, were that Molnupiravir was only being rolled out in the UK, and it was completely prohibited for pregnant women. It was that dangerous. And there was a big trial called the Panoramic trial going on, which was stopped. And I felt so strongly about Molnupiravir and antivirals such as Remdesivir and Paxlovid that I even brought it up with Sir Christopher Chope. And you can see there from the transcript, I'm talking about Molnupiravir is a black triangle medicine, and I was extremely concerned about it. Now, I've got more news on Molnupiravir. I think I might have said something on the news as well about Molnupiravir. So let's see what I said way back last year. As you will all remember, I've been championing the cause to take away and remove Molnupiravir, very, very dangerous antiviral, manufactured by Merck. It was literally thrown out at the first clinical studies, and the FDA, Merck managed to get approval for it. They should never have got approval for it. Molnupiravir was rolled out in the UK first. The Panoramic study was set up because there were so many serious adverse reactions. Pregnant women were absolutely told not to take Molnupiravir. It's one of these drugs to keep you out of hospital. So if you tested positive for COVID, you would get a course of Molnupiravir, 500 quid a course. Now it's been stopped. It is completely ineffective. So anybody that's been receiving Molnupiravir should be aware of this, that it has been deemed ineffective and the Panoramic study has stopped. So I think I was quite clear there that I had serious concerns about Molnupiravir, and I was quite right to be concerned about Molnupiravir, because only this week a story came out on Sky, it's on pretty much all of the mainstream media, which says that Molnupiravir actually leads to further infection. So anybody that has had Molnupiravir is likely to become sicker, and if they're autoimmune suppressed, it's likely to cause more autoimmune suppression. So this was one of our warnings that we put out a long time ago about Molnupiravir, and I have to stress to people, please check, give due diligence to what you're taking. Remember, there are two names of drugs. The active ingredient is on the patient information leaflet. If your drug ends in VIR, VIR, it is an antiviral. And if it ends in MAB, it's likely to be a monoclonal antibody. So please do due diligence. And coming back up to date, the NHS are very proud of themselves because they're announcing that they've delivered 1 million COVID vaccines in 1 week. 2.8 million have received flu jabs at the same time. But of course, we know that there's no safety data for both jabs to be given at the same time. The NHS have delivered jabs to 4,616 care homes. That's a quarter of the care homes so far. They've sent 1.5 million eligible adults invites, and 1.2 million texts and emails have been sent to about 2 to 3 year olds to parents with regards to the flu and catching up on the MMR. And the NHS are calling this a life-saving vaccination programme. But that's not all. They're targeting pregnant women as well. So pregnant women are being asked to attend one of the 5,000 sites. So these jabs are being rolled out even though they might not be on the mainstream news all the time, they are certainly being rolled out. And I'd like to thank Alan, one of our viewers, very much. He sent a flyer that he'd received from his child's school. And there you go. It says, are there any side effects of the vaccine? Lots of questions, lots of facts and useful information. And thanks to Alan, he sent his reply that he sent to the school. And he said, hello, local immunisation team. This flyer contains blatant lies. The flu jab and mist do not protect against flu. For a start, a random version of flu is guessed. As for the jab mist, which is utterly insane. And there is the issue of original antigenic sin when the body learns a response specifically for what is in the vaccine, and the response can be inadequate for the version of flu going around and make your body throw out the wrong response. Then there is the issue of virus theory versus terrain theory. Now, clearly, please freeze the screen and read the rest of it for time. I won't, but thank you so much to Alan for sending in that. And to parents, keep an eye on what's coming through at school, because you might not know necessarily what's going on behind closed doors. And finally, a good news story at long last. Thank you so much to Ruth, because I'd asked in my blog, has anybody got any good stories about the NHS, or is it all doom and gloom? And it isn't. And Ruth sent me a very long email. I've just taken a little snippet of it there, but basically she was very happy with the treatment that her partner David had. The staff in intensive care were fantastic, in high dependency unit were fantastic, the nurses were great, but even though they were short staffed, they gave him the best possible treatment. So to end on a really good note, that there are good stories still going on in the NHS, there are good staff, and there are some very happy patients.
Debbie, thank you very much, and thank you very much for ending on a positive note. I'm just going to add that, of course, if anybody has got any illness or any concerns about their well-being, they should consult their GP. But of course, do also do your own research and think about what UK Column is saying. We must end there. I'm going to say a very big thank you to Sandy Adams for joining us today. Sandy, it's been great to have you as a full member of the news. So thank you very much for that. A big thank you to you, Debbie, for your excellent research as always. And a special thank you to Stephanie, our producer, who's been working very hard on her own in the background. That's it for today's UK Column News. As always, thank you to our viewers and listeners and our supporters. We can only do this with your financial support, and you've been amazingly generous to us. So thank you very much. If you're a subscriber, stay with us. We will be having extra in a few minutes. Bye-bye.